So I'm disturbed. I haven't shared on a public level my thoughts regarding what Donald Trump had said in that audio file. I guess more disturbing to me is the idea that it's been brushed off by some of his supporters, men and women, as being locker room talk. So I agree with that. I think it was locker room talk, but perhaps my definition of locker room talk is a little bit different. And so I want to blow the lid off of this because I think we have this notion that locker room talk is innocent. Allow me to tell you something that's perhaps I'm letting the secrets of the male species be known. But locker room talk is based on locker room or outside deeds outside of the locker room. And locker room talk isn't just about talk. It's about actions that one has done. Whether it was done in a mutual format, as most locker room talk can be, or whether it was done in a way of violations or assault, as what Donald Trump was suggesting. But it's not just Donald Trump. It's the idea that a lot of these men will just say, this is locker room talk. I want to share with you what locker room talk I have seen when I was growing up. I could start at high school. I could start on the football team. I can start about guys talking about weekend parties where the girl was so drunk that she didn't even know the guy was on top of her. I could talk about locker room talks about the one friend of mine who I walked in upon, how he was being strapped to a bench by 4 other football players with black electrical tape, and then Bengay being shoved into his anus and into his genitalia. I could talk about that locker room talk. I could talk about the locker room talk of bachelor parties and frat houses. And I'll give you this one story. I was at a bachelor party once, and this guy who I didn't know him, but he had asked me, he said, have you ever been hog riding? I started laughing. I was like, no, I didn't know you could ride a hog. He's like, well, not a literal hog, but hog riding. It's when you get a fat chick and you take her back to your room, and as you're having sex with her, you let her feel that she is so special. And you tell her things like she's beautiful and, oh, you love her body and you really appreciate her. And then when you are behind her while having sex with her, you turn the words in other directions. And you say things like, you're a fat pig, you're ugly, you're disgusting, you spit on her, you punch her in the back, and immediately she'll try to buck you off of her. And you keep on riding that hog for as long as you can. That's locker room talk. So when I hear Donald Trump say that what he said about grabbing women in their private parts, and he could do that because of his power and his fame, that locker room talk has led to many girls and women that I know becoming raped and victims of assault and abuse. Donald Trump, let me ask you, if a man approached you and decided to put his hand on your genitalia, what would be your response?